Hello, you may have heard of this company called Hoyoverse that made some pretty popular games, which are Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero. And they all may be part of different genres, but these games are very much more similar than you think. All Hoyoverse games have these three things in common: RNG gear grind, yapping, and best of all, gambling. And we all love gambling, but we use in-game currency so the feds don't come knocking down their door. And you may think that these are valid reasons to not pick up these games, but you are correct with those assumptions, but these seemingly simple games are actually challenging. Not challenging in a difficulty sense, but challenging in that it requires a lot of mental to keep playing and not dropping them. Now first, pick your game. On the left is Genshin Impact, which is an open world RPG kinda like Breath of the Wild, where you, as the traveler, find the fastest way to be replaced, with its gameplay revolving around the slickest set of buttons to push on repeat until the monster dies. Honkai Star Rail is a turn-based RPG, kinda like Persona, where you, as the Trailblazer, let the game play for you with auto battle. And its gameplay without auto battle is about pressing one of 6 options and gets 1 to 5 enemies until they die. And Zenless is an action RPG, kinda like Dark Souls, where you, as the proxy, sit your ass on the computer while your peons get the work done. And the gameplay is a mix between Genshin and Honkai, where half of it is clicking buttons and the other half is cutscenes. Once you downloaded a game, or all of them if you have a gambling addiction, you can promptly start the game. And the very first time you play a Hoyo game is probably the best part about these games. Mostly because you haven't discovered the issues with the RNG gear, gambling, and yapping yet. Except for the excessive yapping, that starts immediately, and it does not stop. The yapping never stops. But at least there's a new world to explore. And a bit into your adventure, you will come across this, the first challenge within a Hoyoverse game. Winning the lottery, because if you don't win this first 50-50, you bet that this game is going straight into the trash. Unless once you run out of Primo Gems, aka Stellar Jades, aka Polychrome, you give in to temptation and start swiping the credit card, in which case, why would you spend money on a free-to-play game? At this point, you probably finished most of the story by now, and leveled up most of your characters. Which now begins the worst part about these games, which specifically are the artifacts, relics, and disk drives. Now let me explain why it's so bad. There's 5 to 6 parts to a person's gear. They all have one main stat and 4 substats, with 2 or 3 of them having their main stat locked to a specific one. So 3 to 4 of them are random, while every substat on every piece is random. But typically characters only need 2 substats to be correct. However, whenever you level up your gear, a random subset chosen amongst the 4 is also leveled up. So if you miss too many times, you might as well throw that gear away and try again. And you have to keep trying again until you complete their set. And you have to do this for multiple characters to even compete in the endgame, which is 8 for Genshin, 6 in Zenless I think, and 8 plus for Honkai. And that's just a basic rundown of gear. We haven't even talked about how rigged against you it is. But let's move on and just say, expect it to take like a year to have an account that feels complete, or at least mostly. Not only because gear farming can take so long, but also with how the gacha banners work. Which basically, every 3 weeks, 2 characters are on rotation, with one of them being a new character while the other is an older one. So potentially, if your character you wanted had a banner last month, do not expect them to come again for like 6 months or maybe even a year, in which, thank Hoyo. 1 year into your account and you finally done it. You've been through what all the game has to offer: the excessive yapping, the rigged RNG gear farming, and the predatory gacha system. And now you can finally play the game, which for Genshin at least is all mini games, bi-weekly combat checks, and waiting for new character releases. It ain't much, but it's honest work, just doing dailies and weeklies, but in all, that's how you beat a Hoyoverse game. Anyways, with a short summary, you first download the game, play the game, think about quitting when either you lose the gacha, lose the gear, or get tired of the yapping, or somehow you get through all of that, then at the end, have basically nothing to do because Hoyoverse games aren't built like that, and now you just feel empty inside.